To become a true superhero, one must face off against evil. The Joker, Penguin, the Riddler, Catwoman, Ra's al Ghul, Two-Face, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Bane, Hush, Scarface, the Court of Owls, Black Mask, and Killer Croc are only some that provide contrast to one of pop culture's greatest figures. I am, of course, talking about the caped crusader himself, Batman. When taking a look through the extensive rogue galleries of the funny books, only Spider-Man even gets close to matching Batman's wing. However, while the majority of the aforementioned Batfoes could be considered supervillain royalty, those A-listers have, more often than not, been forced to escape the smoking wreckage of their thwarted schemes after ending up on the wrong end of a beating from the world's greatest detective. But let's face it, no one is infallible. On those rare occasions where Batman has been bested, several of those encounters have involved villains who most people have never heard of. On that note, hi, I'm Sally from WhatCulture.com, and here are 8 nobodies who beat Batman. Number 8. Frank Pratt. The perfect example of a nobody comic book character came in the 1999 arc Batman Dark Victory, created by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale as a follow-up to their 1996 works The Long Halloween. Frank Pratt gave readers a chance to see just how vulnerable Batman can be. In the midst of a territory war between Two-Face and the Falcone mob, now led by Sophia Falcone, a serial killer stalks the streets of Gotham City, dispatching as many of Gotham PD's officers as possible. His calling card, a noose. What more fitting a moniker can there be than the Hangman for such a villain? Frank Pratt makes his debut and exit when this vigilante-hating SWAT team member finds himself on the run from the Hangman. By pure happenstance, Pratt's escape attempt sees him bumping into Batman on one of Gotham's countless rooftops. In an impressive display of instinctive accuracy, Pratt shoots the caped crusader directly in the chest. The sturdy batsuit may have saved the Dark Knight's life here, but he was knocked unconscious courtesy of Pratt's blast, with the gunshot giving away his position to the Hangman and removing poor Sergeant Pratt's only chance of rescue. Poetic justice could arguably be just as guilty for Pratt meeting his horrible demise as the noose-wielding killer. Number 7. Deacon Blackfyre. With him first appearing in the 1988's The Cult, Deacon Blackfyre is yet another relatively unknown Batman foe. Deacon proves that Twitter didn't invent narcissism, as he insists he really is one of the big-time players. In reality, he's likely D-list if we're feeling generous. But he did succeed in making our eyes jump from panel to panel as this nobody somehow managed to get the better of the world's greatest detective. There have been those who've physically beaten down the Batman, but Deacon managed to get Batman under his control and do something truly unlike our batarang-tossing hero: break his one golden rule. Yes, Deacon Blackfyre managed to get Batman to kill someone. As with all such stories, Batman manages to free himself and beat the absolute piss out of Deacon, which in turn leads to his own followers turning on and murdering him, swiftly ending his cult. While he may have been a relative nobody in the grand scheme of the Batman comics, presenting himself as a voodoo shaman, Blackfyre's villainous MO of mind manipulation and brainwashing saw our hero face a unique challenge: to regain himself. Deacon Blackfyre will forever be remembered for making Batman commit one of the ultimate taboos, and showing us that even the best can be bowed under the right circumstances. Number 6. The Reaper. One that many casual comic book fans may be unaware of, the Reaper is an alter ego assumed by a few different characters over the decades. But Judson Caspian's turn as the violent vigilante was the Reaper who bested Batman not once, but twice. In Batman Year 2, readers saw the Dark Knight almost lose his life during his first encounter with Caspian. To his own disgust, Batman agrees to work with the mobs in order to stop the Reaper, well, reaping. And as fate and DC would have it, Batman's choices see him agree to work with the man who in many ways created him, the man responsible for causing him so much pain, who took away his beloved parents, Joe Chill. Being relatively early on in his career as Batman, Bruce resolves to take his murderous vengeance out on Chill once the job is done. Events lead to a poignant moment in Crime Alley between Joe Chill and Bruce Wayne. In full Batman attire, the vengeful man beneath the mask reveals his identity as he aims a gun at his parents' killer. With perhaps benevolent timing, the Reaper arrives on scene, swiftly killing Joe Chill and robbing Bruce of his revenge. And just like that, his long sought-after chance for retribution is gone, snatched away from Bruce by the Reaper, Judson Caspian. Number 5. Joe Chill. Speaking of Joe Chill, a name that holds more weight than many lowlifes on this list, spanning the Batman multiverse as thug, hitman, crime boss, and catalyst, the man with a loaded gun, Joe Chill was responsible for ending the lives of Martha and Thomas Wayne and sending their only son into a spiral of loss-fueled rage. For Joe Chill, he is very much the ultimate nobody. The problem is, he's the nobody whose actions on that fateful night forever haunt the world's greatest detective. Over the decades, certain canon have had Chill carry out the Wayne's murder at the behest of a crime boss, whilst others have just had him down as a no-name scumbag who found himself in a stick-up gone wrong. But either way, Joe Chill is every inch the nobody. We've seen it many times, across many different mediums. But if there's one precise moment to pinpoint when Bruce started on the road to the Cape and Cowl, it's the night his parents were gunned down in Crime Alley. Number 4. Nobody. Rather than being some everyday baddie, Morgan Ducard presented an intense and deeply personal threat to Batman and his world. In the New 52 comics, Morgan and Bruce trained together under Morgan's father and renowned assassin Henry Ducard. Why he's included on this list then is, well, frankly, just down to wordplay. For Morgan is better known as the villainous Nobody. How did Nobody get the better of Batman, you ask? Well, he went after Bruce's son and 5th iteration of Robin, Damian Wayne. After a campaign of interference, you know, standard murdering of criminals, stalking and kidnapping, events lead to Damian leaving his father's side to join Morgan. Of course, Damian's actions were merely a ruse, so Batman could swoop in on Ducard's base of operations and defeat the villain once and for all. But while waiting for Bats, Nobody slowly tortures Robin, describing what he's doing in vivid detail knowing Batman can hear. A crime which launches the Caped Crusader into a terrifying fury when he finally arrives. It's here that Batman so nearly breaks his own code of honor as he submerges Nobody in a vat of acid intent on killing him, before realizing the horrible example he's setting for his son. The Dark Knight lets Nobody live, however he doesn't live very long. Damian kills Nobody by jamming his hand into his forehead, a move that Ducard taught him himself. Batman screams in anguish, knowing that Nobody had done what he set out to do. Cause Damian Wayne to give in to his darkness. Number 3. Penguins with rockets. Back in 1992's Batman Returns, we have Michael Keaton's Bats face off against the terrible trio that is the Penguin, Catwoman, and Max Schreck. Of course, Batman being Batman, overcomes the odds and survives this 3-pronged attack, that survival coming partly in thanks to an assist from Michelle Pfeiffer's Selena Kyle. While Kyle's beef with Schreck is what puts her in the Dark Knight's crosshairs, it's some teeny tiny penguins that so nearly get the better of Batman in Tim Burton's picture. In a blink and you'll miss it scene, Batman is zooming beneath Gotham in a race to get to Danny DeVito's Oswald Cobblepot and finds himself almost offed by 2 cute and cuddly penguins. Well, cute and cuddly penguins with rockets strapped to their back. If ever there was a nobody who finally took out the Batman for good, I think we'd all agree an adorable little penguin would be an inspired choice to get the job done. Number 2. The Mutant Leader. In Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, readers were given something truly iconic to the multi-Earth spanning chronicles of Batman. Retirement takes a backseat as this older Bruce finds himself suiting up once more to take down this mutant gang. While the best parts of The Dark Knight Returns largely center on the dynamic between Batman and Superman, the Mutant Leader also gets a chance to shine, as he delivers an absolutely brutal beating to the Dark Knight. In fact, it's only thanks to the presence of Robin-in-waiting Carrie Kelly that Batman escapes the battle with his life. Few people have delivered the sort of physical pain to Bruce as the Mutant Leader, yet this villain is little more than a juiced-up hulking nobody when it comes down to it. Relying on brute force and intimidation, so much of the Mutant Leader's characteristics are the same as any other generic street thug in Gotham City. But it's the perfect mechanism to show how fragile our retiree has become. Number 1. Sid the Squid. For Sidney, nicknamed Sid the Squid, he made a one-and-done appearance in the iconic Batman the Animated Series, in an episode entitled The Man Who Killed Batman. It's Sid who's the titular person responsible for finally toppling the world's greatest detective, succeeding where A-listers like the Joker, the Riddler, Bane, and many others have failed, causing Sid to go from a nervous no-name wannabe mobster to the top of the criminal food chain overnight. So just how did this goof manage to do the unthinkable and take down one of the greatest heroes in the game? Coincidence and dumb luck. After his bungling ways find him in the middle of a propane explosion, Sid Sid witnesses Batman fall to his apparent death. This chain of events places Sid rubbing shoulders with the biggest villains in Gotham City, amongst rogue royalty for besting the Bat. Of course, Batman wouldn't be quite as dead as we were all led to believe, and he'd return to corner Sid. Realising that Sidney was merely a meek and incompetent patsy who'd been taken advantage of by other criminals, Batman, the old softy, opted to pull some strings to get Sid the Squid a spot in a low-risk prison, where his reputation would see him respected as the big shot who beat Batman. A win is a win, even when it's an accident. We'll let you have that one, Sid. So that was 8 nobodies who beat Batman. I've been Sally from WhatCulture.com, and you have been the audience, the whole audience, and a brilliant one at that. Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and as ever, a great big thank you to all of you who like and subscribe. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you again soon.